guys, as we go through the next part of the presentation, excited to bring you the market update. So we have all of the latest numbers from March that we'll go through as we go through the presentation. I'll just tell you 2021 numbers, I'll just sum that up. We sold over 416,000 units, a 6% increase over 2020. Our sales price was up 18%. This is for all of Texas. And the forecast for all of Texas is that sales will be up volume-wise by 5% versus 2021, and that year-over-year sales prices will be up around 20% versus 2021. This is the summary of last month's data for all of Texas. So last month, the average price in Texas broke the $400,000 mark, $409,000, up 14% versus what it was the same time last year. Really, I think, outstanding news, and this probably you're looking at this and saying, sales are only up 1%. How can this be outstanding? Well, the reason to me it's outstanding is because in February of 2021, because of the snowstorm, a lot of the February 2021 sales pushed into March of 2021. So when we were comparing February of 2022 to February of 2021 last month, the February 2022 numbers looked outstanding because we lost about 2 weeks of sales in February of 2021. They pushed out to March of 2021. So I was afraid that when we were going to look at the March 2022 numbers versus 2021 numbers, that those numbers were going to be down. So I'm actually excited to report that for overall, for all of Texas, those numbers are up. And I'll break down each of the individual markets as we go through as well. But that was exciting news for us, especially given the fact that we have even less inventory today than what we had a year ago. So a year ago, we had a 1.3 month supply of inventory, which was about this much inventory. And now we have this much inventory, 1.1 month supply of inventory. So the fact that we beat it out is another important, a great number for us. Breaking down the stats in Houston, last month the sales price was over $411,000, up 11% versus what it was the same time last year. Sales in Houston were up 4% versus where they were last year. And that is on the same amount of inventory that we had in 2022 versus 2021. The forecast for the rest of 2022 is that sales will be up somewhere in the 10 to 15% range, and the average price will be up somewhere in the 15 to 20% range. So your money is, cash is trash, but your money is good in real estate, my friends. So now's a great time to be invested in this market. Last month in Austin, the average sales price was $645,000, up 17% versus what it was the same time last year. Sales were down 6%. I think the storm hit Dallas and Austin more severely, for example, than it hit Houston. So again, a lot of the February 2021 sales pushed out to March of 2021. So that's one of the reasons why I think the sales are down versus where we were last year. But another kind of interesting pending statistic is our pending sales in Austin are down about 600 units in Austin now versus where they were last year. Again, this could be a result of a lot of the pending sales kind of still filtering through or that were slowed down as a result of the storm, but we'll see it as we start to wrap up the April numbers. The forecast for Austin for overall sales, not as high of an increase as what we're seeing in the Houston market, primarily because the Austin market only has 0.5 months of inventory, where Houston has 1.3 months of inventory, so more than double the inventory, but still significantly less than the historical average, which is closer to about 6 months of inventory over the last 40 years. But the average price in Austin will be up around 25 to 30%, also primarily because of that lack of inventory that's happening there. In the San Antonio market, the average price was up 19% at $374,000. Sales last month were up 1% year over year. Their pending sales are also down versus last year, and their forecast for 2022 is that sales should be up in the 3 to 5% range full year, and that average price will be up somewhere in the 15 to 18% range full year. In the Dallas and Fort Worth market, sales price up 17% to $457,000. I was thinking that Dallas was actually going to get hit the worst with actually going to be a reduction in sales March 2022 versus March 2021, just because of all those sales that pushed out. But the Dallas market pulled out an increase. Sales were up 2% versus where they were last year. However, just like we saw in Austin, those pending sales are down, so that still could be a little bit of a hangover, if you will, from that snowstorm. The forecast for 2022 sales in Dallas should be up somewhere between 1 to 3%. The average price up somewhere between 18 to 20%. Does that give you an idea of where we're headed in the market? It's all based on supply and demand. We're going to continue to see those prices go up as long as we have that supply shortage, which I think we're going to have for probably at least the next 3 years. And guys, I want to go ahead and do a special announcement as part of the Real Estate Investor Association, and that is to share with you how we have rethought the Real Estate Investor Association over the course of the last 2 years. So when we first started Texas REIAs, we started it like most other real estate investor associations, which basically looks like come back every month and we'll teach you about 3.5 more hours worth of real estate investing training and knowledge, give you more insight into where the market is and where the market's going. Maybe in about a year or 3 years, you'll have enough information to be a real estate investor. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? That's the REIA model. That's the REIA model. And over the course of the last 2 years, we've had an opportunity to rethink the REIA model. So basically what we do now is, instead of saying, hey, just come back every single month, now what we ask you to do, come to our meeting tonight and then come to a 3-day training that we put together, because most of you guys want to start investing in real estate, and now is good, and so is now. So what we've done is we put together a 3-day class where we go through the 12 different strategies that we've been using as a real estate investor to stay unemployable over these last almost 2 decades. All of the different marketing campaigns. You're not going to find your deal on the MLS, so we're going to teach you different ways to be able to find off-market deals. We'll also teach you what we call the exactly what to say. This is our personal training from talking to over 1,000 investors. This is our personal training from taking one-on-one coaching and training from Chris Voss, the author of Never Split the Difference, from Phil Jones, the author of Exactly What to Say. And this Thursday, I'm going to see Chase Hughes, who wrote the 6-Minute X-Ray. So I'm super excited about that. And everything that I learned, I bring back to the members of the association so you guys can be better prepared for these situations where you are competing against other investors, for these situations where you are trying to read your seller, for these situations where you're trying to put deals under contract. We'll also bring in several of the long-time members, vendors, sponsors of Texas REIAs. So you've got some different people you can partner with and use to get advice from, and also use to get funding from. I was doing a presentation about 3 weeks ago for Think Realty here in Houston, and there were about 40 different lenders there that were like, please take my money, please take my money, please take my money. So we basically compiled the top lenders from that meeting to be able to fund all of your deals as well. And here's the thing, guys. I'm just kind of doing a quick check of the room. 2 years ago, we said we're going to do these classes for free because we were doing them on Zoom. And I had told my husband that I want to keep doing that while the world is kind of upside down. So I'm just doing a quick mask check in the room, and I think I see 3 people on this side wearing masks, right? So you can thank those 3 people on this side of the room for wearing masks, because the only reason why we are doing it free tonight is because there are still people wearing masks, because the world is upside down. Hold your applause for me, but you can at least give it to them for making sure that we do this for free still, yeah? So as soon as I do a meeting, I'm sorry, there are 4 people in here now that I'm kind of seeing the person in the back row. Maybe 5, I see a woman with long hair. So as soon as we do a meeting and no one's wearing masks is when we're gonna start charging. I'm hoping and praying that this Texas summer is going to really just kill this thing. But if it doesn't, and you guys are still wearing masks, then we're going to continue to do it for free. But I think this is limited because I think everyone's over the mask thing. Now, I want to make sure you guys get this on your calendar right now. So we've got 3 different meeting choices for you guys to get signed up for. We have a meeting in Austin on April 29th, 30th, and May 1st. This is what we'll call our Texas tour. We have a meeting in Dallas in May 20th, 21st, and 22nd. And we have a meeting in Houston on June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So guys, check your calendars, see which one you can attend. You can attend them either in person, like you guys are all here right now, or you can attend them virtually online via Zoom. We're going to simulcast it. So we've got the technology to be able to do that and make it a good experience for both people. So to be able to get signed up for this while we are still doing it for free, if you're in person with us, just pull out your camera. Now is good, right? Point your camera at the screen. Focus in on this QR code, this little box with all the little boxes inside of it, right? And then what'll happen is your internet browser will pop up, your Safari will pop up. You'll just click on that. If you need help, just ask the person next to you. I'm sure they'll tell you how, and we'll walk through to be able to make sure you know how to do it too. And then we'll get you registered. So we're gonna ask you a couple questions so we know where you're at today and where you're going. For those of you guys who are online, there should be a little box either to the bottom, or it might be even in the chat if you're watching on Facebook Live that you can check in with as well. So guys, that's how you can get started with us and get started on your real estate investing journey.